Genshin Impact, a game that is now 1 year old, a game that has been in my life for 313 days. It is the perfect time to milk content. It is the perfect time to make a video about what honestly might be one of my favorite games. The music, the game mechanics, the scenery, the characters, all the art, the story, the list goes on. So how did I start playing Genshin Impact? For me, a year is a lot to remember for my small brain and its few brain cells. Especially because 2020 was the year it was. I probably first heard of it when I started watching offline TV. I forgot what video it was, but they were sponsored by Genshin Impact. There were two key reasons why this game probably got my attention. Number 1, it's free. Number 2, it's available on mobile devices. This was all I needed to hear. I've yet to have a proper device to really game on. I mean, nothing is stopping me from downloading Genshin on my dumb MacBook Air, but I don't want this to happen. So far, my phone hasn't exploded yet, so I'll take my chances for now. I wish I picked up the game earlier, but surprisingly, I started early enough that I got to meet Mona, Fischl, and Scaramouche in the Unreconciled Stars event, an event that took place in Mondstadt, the city of wind and freedom. The city where the journey to find our lost sibling begins, and where you save Paimon from drowning. You get Anemo, you meet Venti and Devalin, and you get your first team, Amber, Kaya, and Lisa. In my early days of Genshin, you best believe I didn't know a thing about building characters, let alone playing them, but I mostly relied on Lumine, Amber, and Kaya. No disrespect to Lisa, I just didn't like her slow attacks, which meant I kept getting hit. Dodging attacks was another flaw of mine, but I enjoyed her story quest a lot. As far as Archon quests go, I remember wanting to level up quickly so I could find out what happens next, but looking back now at AR55, I miss the days where I could just explore and discover what I could do in this game. I also broke the game and couldn't play the part where I needed to steal the Holy Lyre, so when I kept reconnecting it played the following cutscene. Oops. In regards to regional events, I really enjoyed participating in the Windbloom Festival. The rhythm game was very enjoyable, and in my opinion for a mobile player, I did pretty well on the archery game. I hope they bring back a similar event like this again. Funny story actually, I really wanted Venti and it was the perfect time to have his rerun banner. I didn't understand rolling at the time, because I thought the pity for the standard banner and the limited banner connected. Therefore, I rolled on the standard banner to build pity for the limited banner. The 1st of April, I got Mona and was traumatized. Is this the end? I've used all my rolls. I'm beyond broke. I guess I'll get Venti next time. I've done daily commissions every day, doing single rolls to get by, losing hope as the final days of the banner loomed upon me. 4 days later, on the 5th of April. And that is the story of how I got Venti. It was a 50-50 too. I got Hu Tao a few weeks before. I remember the time I was exploring the outskirts of Mondstadt, trying to get my exploration up, and I saw a mountain. I wanted to go screw around and go through the game border and climb the mountain, but little did I know, that mountain would be unlocked in a few months. Dragon Spine, a cold place. A very, very cold place. I didn't know they added Canada into Genshin Impact. I knew about Albedo beforehand, but I wasn't expecting to meet Rosaria. Her character design is pretty cool and I find it interesting how much her personality contrasts with her occupation. On top of that, it was nice to see Barbara again. I have yet to fully explore Dragon Spine, let alone collect all the Crimson Agate in the area, because sheer cold always sneaks up on me, especially when I go AFK. I don't think I even finished the event quest where I had to defeat the Cryo Regis Vine to protect Sucrose and Albedo, and I was traumatized by the first time I fought the Cryo Hypostasis. And, to top it all off, this quest was a nightmare to complete and I couldn't lower my world level. Even though I have a lot against Dragon Spine, it contains one of my favorite songs in the entirety of the game. These days I mostly go to Dragonspine for artifact runs, but I keep getting stupid Heart of Depth instead of Blizzard Strayer. But it's fine because I can hear this banger song, and it's probably a sign that I should build Mona. Liyue, the land of Geo, and home of the one and only Wanmin restaurant. I think I discovered Liyue and unlocked it way earlier than it was intended to be. I don't know how and I don't know why, but all I recall is that the game gave me a quest and wanted me to talk to the Liyue Catherine, even though I don't remember finishing the monster token quests. On the bright side, it gave me an opportunity to explore the landscape beforehand. The cliffs and mountains can be a challenge to climb sometimes, especially with a lower stamina bar, but the feeling and view you get when you reach the top is all worth it. Maybe, I can say with confidence that I prefer traveling the landscapes of Monster to Liyue by a long shot, but thank the Archons for teleport waypoints, am I right? Speaking of, I remember finishing Liyue's Archon quests in absolute shock and pure awe. I think I had school the next day, but I had no regrets. I've had such an adrenaline rush and felt a feeling I don't think I'll ever attain from any other game again. It was just so freaking cool, and literally ended in a bang. Furthermore, I'm very thankful to have been around during the Lantern Rite Festival. I could finally complete my set of Liyue 4 stars, and get my favorite character. I think that festival had the prettiest cutscenes outside of the Archon quests, and I look forward to the next festival. I wonder what festivals Inazuma has to offer. Inazuma, the isolated islands of Electro. I was really looking forward to this update because it's always fun to go around, explore, and unlock chests.
It's a miracle!
In my opinion, it was smart to introduce the Golden Apple Archipelago before dropping Inazuma to hype up exploration again. On top of that, entering the nation alone was enough to get me hyped. Literally sailing through the Ride End Storm and practically sneaking in with a fugitive. It was a very interesting contrast against the other two nations, seeing as you could walk back and forth between them. I mean, the waypoints can take away from that immersion, but it's fun to ice bridge. I've missed doing puzzles, especially because it's been so long since I've stumbled across them. But in Inazuma, especially when chasing down Electro Sealy, it surely took me a while to get the hang of things. Also, a little rant. Navigating Watsumi Island is so annoying. Don't get me wrong. I think it is undoubtedly one if not the most beautiful and visually pleasing places in Genshin Impact. But whenever I get a commission, it feels like it's almost always perfectly in between two waypoints. On top of that, I have to deal with these things coming out of nowhere. I forgot what it was like to do bounties and requests because I stopped ever since I've maxed out reputation in Mondstadt and Liyue. I need to grind for Inazuma's glider for sure. There are many locations that are just gorgeous, and there are many places to fool around and take photos. I don't know what else to say because the nation is still pretty new in my mind. I still have puzzles I have to solve, locations to discover, world quests to complete, and to top it all off, I have to process the latest Archon quest. But I highly anticipate the new and upcoming characters, and I think Genshin Impact's characters are so charming. I feel honored to have 26 characters, in which 7 of them, including the Traveler, are 5 stars. Kinda feels bad to know I have like 6 or 7 of my characters built. It took me a while to understand builds and artifacts. Honestly, I still don't know how to build, but if I keep surviving in my AR, I think it's all good. Considering what happened during Venti's rear and banner, I pretty much didn't roll 4 characters in the early game. Asides the main 4, here's the characters I got in order. Now you probably might be wondering, who are these special 7 characters I've built, and why haven't I built anyone else? I for sure didn't want to remove Traveler off my team, because you know, they're the protagonist and all. But anyway, my first party, after sadly parting with the original 3, consisted of Traveler, Beidou, Xiangling and Barbara, and then I got Gan Yu. At this point my memory is pretty cloudy, but I either replaced Xiangling or Barbara. Then, my second party consisted of the Traveler, Venti, Chongyun, and Bennett. Finally my latest party includes the same members, but with the Traveler sadly being replaced by none other than the Raiden Shogun. In total that is, the Traveler, Beidou, Ganyu, Chongyun, Bennett, Venti, and the Raiden. Regardless, I feel comfortable with the team I have today, but I'll probably use this team for our conquests. It's going to be a real challenge to make other teams if I ever wanted to. This team is basically made of my favorite characters, but of course, I have more where that came from. To keep it short and sweet, I'll list 3 of my favorite characters from each nation. My favorite characters from Mondstadt gotta be Venti, Albedo and Bennett. For Liyue, definitely Chongyun, Beidou, and Ganyu. From the new nation of Inazuma, it has to be Raiden, Kazuha, and Sayu. Sayu's banner ended and I still really want her. I'm still waiting for Sayu to come home, so these days I'm wishing on the standard banner. I skipped for Raiden and I got her, but at what cost? The exact cost of $0. I don't ever plan on spending money on Genshin yet. So far it's worked out pretty well. I've won 4 out of 5 50/50s on limited banners, and all it took was around 9 months of farming, around 72,000 primo gems, a decent fraction of my mental energy, and a grudge against Diluc, also known as my red-haired Kazuha. I'm actually really salty about losing this one because I don't know how to build him, or fit him in my team, or any team for that matter, but I got Razor straight after in a 10 roll, so that made it hurt a little bit less. One of my goals is to eventually have a good majority of my characters built, and I also want to play a variety of different characters. And so we come to the conclusion. This game is planned to last a pretty long time. Why not have fun and experiment with it? I think Genshin Impact is a special game that has something for everyone. I haven't even talked about the hell that is Spiral Abyss, the Serenitia pot, or even fishing. Yeah, fishing. It's only been a year and in this video, I've only scratched the surface with this game. So much content has come out from the creators and the community. So I can't wait for what the next year for Genshin Impact will look like, especially the anniversary rewards, unless this year's rewards miraculously get better.
This is long overdue.
Swift and merciful.